Well, in some international news, a final draft ceasefire proposal towards ending the 15-month war in Gaza has been presented to both Israel and Hamas. Various reports indicate that mediators led by Qatar, the United States and Egypt presented a draft final text for a ceasefire and release of hostages in Doha. Let's find out a little bit more from SABC News International editor Sophie Mokoena. Sophie, good morning to you. I mean, this is a big development, but no doubt we cannot celebrate until we actually see this taking place. But let's talk about the sticking points of this draft ceasefire proposal. Do you think they'll be resolved during the talks in Doha?
I think today the draft will be adopted by both Israel and Hamas. We get news that Hamas is agreeing to this document. We know that Israel did agree yesterday, and the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, did speak to his cabinet about this agreement. We know that it's a race against time. You know that the incoming president of the United States of America, Donald Trump, had announced and warned both sides that this must be agreed to before he gets into office, or else hell will break loose. And I think both sides are aware that when he says something, it does happen. He will do just that. And you don't know what hell break loose means. And therefore, I think this is a push. On the other hand, you have Joe Biden, the outgoing president, who's pushing hard because also he wants to claim victory in terms of that agreement. And we are told just now, we saw a message from the outgoing Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, saying that today he is going to present a reconstruction plan in relation to Gaza. And therefore, there's no way he can talk about a way forward in terms of rebuilding of Gaza when we are not going to have a ceasefire. And we are told that some of the hostages will be released. We expect that later today that's likely going to happen.
Yeah, no doubt. All eyes on this. But just, Sophie, before I let you go, obviously it's very interesting times, and you did bring it up between the race to the office of President-elect Donald Trump and the outgoing Joe Biden. We saw him yesterday talking to this possible agreement, and one would think that he would like this victory under his belt, even though there is the threat that Trump gave, as you mentioned. But I think Biden wanting to bow out with this victory. They've been working hard and tirelessly at this, but there hasn't been anything successful. So I imagine this is something he'd like to see happen during the end of his tenure.
Definitely, because he has come under fire. I mean, you look at the number of women and children who have been killed in Gaza since the start of the onslaught on Gaza by the Israeli Defense Force. Those bombardments, even yesterday, many people were killed, and those were women and children. Yesterday, the bombardment continued. And therefore, Biden would want this to happen while he's still in office. But other developments is that at the International Court of Justice in The Hague, we saw Cuba joining South Africa's case. And therefore, on all fronts, there's pressure. And he wants to leave office with this agreement so that when those issues come back, he's able to defend himself. Because all the decisions he took during this critical time where we saw many people being killed in Gaza will come back and haunt him.
All right. Sophie, let's leave it there. Today, I'm sure, will be a big one. Lots of developments happening on this particular saga, and hopefully good developments coming out of that story. Sophie Mokoena, our international news editor.